every Monday. Just do this right here every single Monday. Give us a doubleheader, Monday Night Football, and let us be happy. Matter of fact, we have 3 Monday Night Football doubleheaders over the next 4 weeks. So they're getting closer to being exactly where we want to be. But tonight, Jacksonville at Buffalo, Washington at Cincinnati, and we're going to have some fun with this one. Yes, we are. We already have over in Tails in the premium Discord taking some serious long shots in these. And as you can see, we have had a pretty fantastic season thus far. We're going to see if we can keep running hot tonight. And as always, if you want to join, promo code NFL24, 50% off your first week, 50% off your first month. So less than $5, less than $15. We're growing an awesome community. Would love to have you be part of it. And if you decide to, links in the description and in chat. Download the Odds Shopper app, jump in on Discord, and say what's up when you get there. Otherwise, let's talk some football. Hey, Dave Loughy here, at Loughy_D on Twitter if you haven't hit me up yet. And remember, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. It goes a long way for us. We appreciate you. And I like seeing where you guys are at for the slate. Read and respond to all of those. But in the meantime, what do you say we talk a little Monday Night Football? Commanders at the Bengals. I'm going in reverse order here because I want to. Anyway, Bengals are 7.5-point home favorites, 46.5-point total. Naturally, and I said this on Thursday, like naturally you should be thinking about grabbing the Pats, but I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. We went Jets. That worked. I was on the Falcons yesterday, and they had every opportunity to win that for us. Every opportunity. You know, there was the pass interference with Pitts in the end zone that they didn't call, but then they had 2 quick makeup calls. Then there was a horse collar. They drove downfield on penalties. One of them was legitimate and still couldn't get it done with that terrible 4th and 1, whatever. You don't want to hear this. Still salty. But we got the Jets on Thursday. Let's see if we can get this one on Monday. You should, of course, be thinking like, all right, Washington, 7.5-point dogs outside of a field goal. I get it. Or outside of a touchdown. But this defense is really bad. So will another week with a new head coach in Dan Quinn, a new defensive coordinator in Joe Wood Jr., can that help them patch up some of these holes in the secondary and the run game and the pass rush? I don't know. You know, on offense, can Jaden Daniels, effectively come from behind in a game like this? I don't know, assuming they get behind, right? We don't know. Like the Raiders were big favorites yesterday, and they got stomped out by Carolina, and they played from behind all game. And what an indictment that was on Bryce Young, huh? There's no coming back from that, really. Look, it's just a tall order. When you've got Joe Burrow, they're 0-2, by the way. Like, they're 0-2 coming back home after a brutal loss to the Chiefs last week. Jamar Chase is here. T. Higgins is back. They've got a good run game because I'm a big believer in Chase Brown. I think he starts getting more work. Zach Moss has been fine. Through 2 weeks, though, the Commanders, this team is allowing, right, a league-high 6 touchdown passes. Well, it was up until yesterday's games. 8 yards per attempt. And you're talking about Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield. That's who they faced. And a league-high 128 passer rating. So if Washington does manage to keep this close, it's going to be on the ground. Cincinnati's secondary has looked fantastic through the first 2 weeks. You could be like, Loughy, they played Jacoby Brissett, and I'd say you're absolutely right. But then they went out and in Kansas City held Patrick Mahomes to 151 passing yards and 2 interceptions. So there's something to be said about that as well. They struggled to contain the run, though, there's no doubt. Ramondre Stevenson carved them up. Isaiah Pacheco had a very effective game the following week. But this could look different if Cincinnati goes up early. And then what happens there? You're forcing Jaden Daniels to throw. He's completing a lot of passes, but nothing downfield. And while the backdoor cover is very live for Washington, obviously, and I wouldn't blame you for going in that direction. As always, I'm just giving you the information I have and my leans. If you want to tail, that's awesome. We can sweat it together and commiserate together if it loses. But the 0-2 Bengals, 0-2 at home, I think they could end up dominating tonight. And that's why I'm looking at Bengals -7.5. But more importantly, I really like this game from a props angle. If Jamar Chase stinks tonight, you may never see me again, okay? Look, I'm not pretending that, my life savings, my entire bankroll is on Jamar Chase over props, but I've definitely overextended. It's just such a bad Washington secondary, and even with T. Higgins back, I don't care much. Jamar Chase over 80.5 receiving yards. He's yet to have that big game. He was bracketed against Kansas City last week, and his first game after this weird hold-in situation in week 1 against the Patriots. Over 80.5 receiving yards. I think it's the breakout game. Anytime touchdown at +110 on FanDuel. 2 plus touchdowns at plus 850. We got all these a lot earlier in the Discord on Wednesday at better odds, but I still like them. And if you want to get wild, you can ladder chase up to 150 receiving yards at plus 950 on Bet365. Also, quickly, guys, before we get to the next game and these other props I have, if you're betting this 2 touchdown prop, do it on Bet365 if it's available in in your state. Because not only do they do some crazy promos for every primetime game, like get $50 or get $10 per every touchdown in bonus bets if you bet a cumulative $50 on a same game parlay, but they're also giving you $200 in bonus bets just for signing up and betting $5. So you deposit 10 with the link in the description and chat. Takes you a minute to sign up. Deposit 10, bet 5 on whatever you want. Like you could bet, I bet this drive to be a field goal. I wouldn't suggest it, but you could. And after that drive settles, you immediately have $200 in bonus bets in your account that you did not have, 5 minutes before that. So if you're looking to get that, quickly inject it into your account right after the bet settles by just depositing 5 or 10 and betting 5. Links in the description for that. You got to be 21 years or older to gamble. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. But I implore you guys, use different books when betting touchdown props, because this is plus 650 on Caesars, plus 950 on Bet365. At least if you're going to grab a long shot, do it the right way. Also, Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns on FanDuel, and Jaden Daniels under 198.5 passing yards on Caesars. All right, Jacksonville at Buffalo, minus 4.5 are the plus 5.5 are the Jags. I don't know where that came from. Jags are plus 5.5 in Buffalo. They are pretty big dogs at 0-2, and everyone's just kind of declaring them dead after this offense has struggled to generate anything early on. I'm not buying it, though. I mean, this is kind of like the Eagles yesterday, right? In my video, I said, I was honest with you guys. I said, you should probably take the Eagles. No, you should take the Eagles, but I can't bring myself to do it. Maybe it's a Philly bias. Maybe it's the stupidity there, but I saw it. It moved through 3, through 0, and then swung all the way to New Orleans being a favorite. And what happened? The Eagles defense that was a sieve at times through the first 2 weeks, Jalen Carter, Jordan, they locked them down and held the Saints, who scored 900 points through the first 2 weeks, held them to 12 points at home in the Superdome. Football's fucking crazy, okay? Football is a weird sport, and the level of parity from week to week has no bounds whatsoever. So when I look at this as an 0-2 team, as a road dog, and the season essentially I don't want to say it's on the line, but this is a spot like they need to win or at least compete in this game. This is a big deal. And I'm not saying they win straight up. I might sprinkle on that plus 210 money line on FanDuel, but as 5.5 point dogs in a desperation spot, I do kind of like them. Not to mention, Jacksonville has a pretty decent run defense, pretty good run defense, allowing 3.8 yards per attempt through the first 2 games against 2 teams that can run the football. So you could see Allen forced more to throw to a largely unproven pass catching core. And more than anything, you look last week, James Cook did a ton. The Bills defense did a ton. I like the Jacksonville run game here. I think their defense can compete. And I refuse to believe that Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, that these guys are just so bad after we've seen them at the very least, they've collapsed at times, but at the very least compete in football games. I don't see them just falling flat in this one. I also want Travis Etienne over 49.5 rushing yards. If it's close, which I'm expecting it to, like if you don't think this game's close at all, you're not grabbing over rushing yards for anybody here other than James Cook, right? But I think Jacksonville keeps it close. I like Jacksonville plus 5.5, which ultimately or naturally should lead me to be looking at, it's under 50 yards for Travis Etienne, 49.5. I like this spot here. I think he gets a lot of work. They're going to want to run the football in this spot as well, which is Buffalo's weakness on D. They gave up a lot of rushing yards to Miami, despite Miami being down 30 points. They also gave up a lot to James Conner early in week 1 to that Arizona team. So that's where we're at today. Guys, enjoy the games. Monday Night Football doubleheaders are the greatest. And I think we have another one next week and then 3 weeks from now. So see you back here for a whole lot of that in the coming weeks. Aside from anything else, hopefully I'll see you over in Tails. Shout me out in Discord. Say hi. Use that promo code NFL24 for 50% off your first week or month. Peace.